Now for Global Business Updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Doctor.
Welcome
Good morning.
back from Valentine's Day.
Hey, good morning.
Morning,
Yes,
Rotus.
yes,
How
good.
are you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel
You
relaxed.
read report yesterday.
Oh, thank you so much.
Loved it.
Thank
It
you,
was
thank
really
you,
nice.
thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Good morning to our viewers as well. We begin in Asia. Lots of news coming out of Asia, starting with Japan. As they say, 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth gives you a technical recession. So looking at their latest figures for the last, again, this is a lagging indicator. So this is going back to the 4th quarter of 2023, 0.4% on an annualized basis. The forecasts were from a growth of 0.2 to 0.3%. Then this follows 3rd quarter GDP of 3.3% contraction. So Japan in recession territory. Now this could be revised. They tend to provide revisions after these preliminary numbers are released. The equity markets, however, look at Asian stocks. They generally ignore the data. The Nikkei 225 in Japan is still the best performing index coming out of Asia. Was the best performing index in 2023, and it touched a high. In fact, it came close to a high not seen, I think, since 1989 of about almost 38,124 points. So the equity markets, at least for Japan anyway, are doing pretty. I think Taiwan just came back from the lunar holiday. They're up as well. TSMC, there's some tech stocks, AI driven, of course, that are pushing indexes upward. So that's what we're seeing. Is still in Asia, continuing the Asian news. We had an election that took place in Indonesia yesterday. Indonesia, of course, voting to replace Joko Widodo. So the gentleman to the left, Prabowo Subianto, has already declared victory based on unofficial results. It's going to take almost a month. It could take up to a month for them to get those results out. But he was, a former military general under the Suharto regime. That was known as a brutal regime. He was banned from the United States for almost 2 decades because he was implicated in human rights abuses. He went on exile, and then he really repackaged his image, and essentially, he picked his. If you see that name Gibran under the picture there where he's speaking, Prabowo Gibran. Gibran is the eldest son of Widodo, the outgoing president, so who of course has completed 2 terms, immensely popular, and so he picked his eldest son of the president right now for his running mate, and according to unofficial results, I think you need about more than 50% plus 20% in each of the provinces that are voting in order to avoid a runoff. So he's declaring victory, but the other competitor, in fact, if we go back to the initial slide, if we go back and look at the 3 competitors there, the other 2 gentlemen are former governors of provinces. So Anies Baswedan, who was filed in 3rd place, he met up to 2nd place in the polls, and then Ganja Pranowo, another former governor of another province there, he's of course lagging in 3rd place. Interestingly enough, the party, if you look at the Ganja Pranowo, the PDIP party, Democratic Party of Struggle, was Widodo's party, a ruling party, but what's his name? Prabowo is going with the Advanced Indonesia Coalition, which, by the way, there's also elections in the legislature. It seems like a coalition is going to be needed because there's no outright leader at this point. So that's what's going on. Also, still in Asia, Renaissance, which is Resonance, which is an electronic company in Japan, a chip-making company, has purchased an Australian listed company called Altium. Renaissance. So Altium is a US-Australia multinational design firm. They design circuit boards for chips and so on and so forth. It is the biggest acquisition of an Australian listed firm by a Japanese company. $5.9 billion, all cash. It's supposed to close in the 2nd half of this year, subject to regulators. But this is part of the AI drive, the chip drive, the semiconductor drive that we're seeing, where massive deals are being closed across different continents just to cash in on what we're seeing with AI. And speaking of AI, Nvidia is just on an absolute tear. Nvidia up, I think, about 2.9% yesterday. Results don't come out until next week, but I think investors just seem to think that this company can do no wrong. 49% growth in the stock price so far in 2024. It added $602 billion in its market cap. It's now 1.8 trillion. It has, in fact, 24 hours ago, it surpassed Amazon, and then 48 hours ago it surpassed Amazon, and then Alphabet 24 hours ago as of yesterday. So we're expecting those earnings for results for on the 21st. If you look at the most valuable companies, just looking at the top 5, Nvidia has climbed. So you've got Microsoft, at $3 trillion, which of course also supplanted Apple. Apple 2.8 trillion, Saudi Aramco at 2 trillion. There is Nvidia at 1.83 trillion, just a smidgen above Alphabet at 1.82 and passing. And so it jumped above 2 companies in just 2 days. So it's a lot of this, hype. Is the back fundamentals? It's the market pretty much saying that this AI wave is something that you're going to stick to. Now, when we talk stocks, what about the CEOs behind the stocks? If you look at the year-to-date addition in wealth for a number of these billionaires who are, running these companies that are driven by AI, look at Mark Zuckerberg, $37 billion just this year alone. We're already in February, Jensen Huang of Nvidia, 19 billion. Then you've got Jeff Bezos of Amazon. In fact, Jeff Bezos, he sold about $4 billion worth of stock this past few days. Hey, he wants to give money to charity and so on and so forth. You've got Steve Ballmer of Microsoft, you've got Larry Ellison as well, 7.3 billion. But a lot of them have added quite a huge amount of money to their wealth based on the appreciation in the stock prices of these companies that depend so much on AI. So I tell people all the time, diversify your portfolio, look to semiconductors. Then to Nigeria, we've been announcing, we had, of course, on the back of the tragic passing of Dr. Herbert Wigwe, the appointments of acting group CEO of Bolaji Agbede on the Access Holdings PLC side. Now we've got an announcement for Fidelity Bank PLC. They've extended the tenure of their group managing director and CEO, Dr. Nneka Onyeli-Ikpe, from 2024 up to 2026. The decision was taken February 12th. She, of course, assumed office in 2021. Now, if you want to take a look at her tenure and how well she's done, for me, I took a look at, the stock price of Fidelity from when she came into office till now, and also the profits for the company. So the stock price, and so I tell people to invest in Nigerian equity securities, whether it's stocks, whether it's treasury bills. When Onyeli-Ikpe was appointed in January, the stock price of January 4th was 2 naira 77 kobo. As of yesterday, now stocks were down, a number of stocks were down yesterday, banking stocks, but as of yesterday, Fidelity Bank closed at 10 naira 30 kobo. That is a 281% appreciation. If you put whatever you put 100,000 or 1 million naira in Fidelity stock when Onyeli-Ikpe was appointed, you've basically almost tripled your money since that time. 2021 PBT is profit before tax. It was 38.1 billion naira in the first year when she was appointed. As of there, now the 2023, those PBT numbers are unaudited, but the unaudited numbers was 122 billion. If you do the math on that, that is a 220% appreciation in the profit before tax for the company. So her tenure has, she's done pretty well. So, girl power there. That is our updates. I didn't get to cement prices. Cement prices, what now? As of December 2023 was 5,000 naira. As of February the 9th, 7,000 naira. In fact, I'm hearing 10,000 naira quotes for cement. So, my word, that has an implication for affordable housing. It has an implication for Nigeria's housing unit deficit. It's got a number of implications for Nigeria. So again, that's quite heavy. But that's our updates for today.
All right. Of course, I'm going to lean into girl power.
So of course. I knew you're strong on the girl power, of course.
I think it was December. Yeah, end of December when we were doing our year-enders. And this day newspaper had reported on some of the most people of 2023, the most valuable players of 2023. And I'd mentioned the fact that we didn't see a lot of female CEOs in the business category. And one of the women I'd actually highlighted was Mrs. Onyeli-Ikpe, because in terms of Fidelity, beyond this massive and impressive figures in terms of how well she's done since she assumed office in January 2021, was also, I believe, was a Fidelity event they had in the US where they had small business owners. And I saw a number of small small business owners in Nigeria take advantage of that. So beyond the numbers, also some very great innovations in the company. Quite brilliant, and I'm glad that the board has deemed it fit to extend her tenure. Now, in terms of Nvidia and how that speaks to AI, I don't think it's much of a surprise because we've seen the AI mania take over, and now valued over Alphabet.
Exactly.
I'm quite interested in how companies like Meta would work and capitalize on this, because I know that they've also been quite big on pushing the AI agenda, even though they've seen some pushback in recent times. Definitely investors are smiling to the bank. I'm looking at the companies that are valued over that. Saudi Aramco Oil, Apple, and Microsoft.
It's the only non-tech company in the top 5. That's Saudi Aramco. The rest are all technology
all tech
stocks.
Companies. And
all
I do believe that very soon, I mean, it's just a few, okay, let me say a few, it's a lot, some billions, in $1 billion away from Saudi Aramco. But in the very near future, with the way that AI is going, it's probably going to surpass them very shortly. So perhaps the other tech companies might begin to rethink in terms of how much investment they'd want to put in AI, Microsoft, Apple, and of course, I'd like to compare it to our Nigerian or African side, that in terms of investment in AI, are we seeing this future? Are we buying into it? I know a number of companies are doing that already, but to what extent are we doing this? I don't think we are catching up with that AI race just as yet, but great news for them. Congratulations to all those who invested in Nvidia, and in terms of profit sharing, they will be smiling to the bank.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Congratulations to Oyali Ipe, whose contract has been extended by the board of Fidelity Bank to 2026. Well, I think she got the perfect Valentine gift.
Indeed.
The board made the appointment on February 12th, just ahead of Valentine's Day. And I think that, that commendation is well deserved. As you have pointed out, she's taking, Fidelity Bank forward. And then, of course, the major challenge now is to continue with this international expansion that Fidelity Bank has embarked upon. And she has also made the shareholders
very happy.
Very happy. So I think our example also, will be a source of inspiration to many women who are top of the line, in business. You call it girl power. My favorite reference is Carrie Churchill's 1982 British play called Top Girls.
There we go.
So that play, that piece of literature focuses on women who do well in business and who are right at the top there, So she's a perfect example of a top girl.
Indeed.
Who can break this glass ceiling and sustain it there. So congratulations to her. Let's go to Indonesia. Here you talked about Prabowo Subianto, 72 years old, who is already celebrating with his supporters in Jakarta. Well, this will have been his last chance. He had been running for president before. He didn't win. But this time around, he favored him. He was expected to win 50% plus 1% and 20% in 38 of the provinces. But, the projections indicated that he has already won up to about 60%, hence the celebration. Yes, he's President Jokowi's ally. President Jokowi has done 2 terms of 5 years, so he can't go there again. But here is the rub of it. Joko Widodo's son, 36-year-old, is just 36. He's the running mate to this new president who has emerged. Now, the boy is 36, but what the Constitution says is that you have to be 40 years. So the arrangement they had was that they had to adjust the Constitution to accommodate, Jokowi's son, but he's a governor in one of the provinces, the governor of Surakarta. So now you have Widodo living, but he has left his son behind. Course. Maybe that's the strategy that has helped Subianto. However, continuity. He campaigned on the basis of continuity, that he will continue the Jokowi's popular economic policies. So that's what, we'll be looking at. What will happen hereafter? 1, Jokowi's decision to relocate to a new capital city. Will Subianto, will he continue with that? There are issues about VAT. There are issues about subsidies. There are issues about fiscal deficit, in Indonesia. The world's 4th largest democracy, the biggest economy in Southeast Asia. And that's why the economy is very important. I was going to ask you about the Monetary Policy Committee.
Yes.
The president of Nigeria has now sent a list of 12 persons to the Senate to confirm Cardoso as chairman and those other persons. But the MPC is 25 to 26 to 27. Is it not a bit too close? And, I don't know whether you have seen the profile of the persons there, apart from the institutional members. And so what should we expect? Would the MPC meeting this month just be, getting to know each other, coming together? Whereas there are urgent issues.
Yes.
I thought that MPC, should have been constituted long before now. But, this is how government goes here in Nigeria.
You did, and you brought it up, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rotus.